Batman Superman 15, Joshua Williamson writing with Andre Bressan on the art. Final book of the week. So, to dive into this is actually the end of Williamson's run. Surprise. Although, again, he might be doing the. I don't know if he's doing the Future State stuff or if the new team's doing the Future State stuff.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
I'm not sure either, but I know that the book's going to Yang afterwards, and it's going to be this weird Golden Agey type thing that I'm very excited for.
Which feels like it might come out of Future State, given that it is a weird sort of timeline thing. Right. So this is very much a one and done. This is just a one issue story about Superman and Batman transporting Solomon Grundy, who is unstable and is going to explode. Because every time he is reborn, he's reborn with a new purpose, and he's unstable.
Which I do love that they play with, because that's something that doesn't get brought up enough with Grundy. That's true. Like a lot of the times they use him as a Hulk cipher, that he's just destroying stuff and goes forward. But here, I do like that he's different, because even in Justice League Dark, when he showed up in Justice League Dark, he was like this weird zombie version of himself. So I do like that's how you can play a different version of Grundy. So here he's like set to explode, so they got to get him to Slaughter Swamp. But we had a nice fun cameo that I enjoyed.
Okay, yes, your happy Poison Ivy was there as a consultant because. Grundy has a tenuous connection with the Green, and she has some experience with that. Basically, she surmises that he has to be taken back to Slaughter Swamp, his place of origin,
ancestral home, if you will,
to kind of go peacefully and come back as whatever he's going to come back as, to avoid exploding. So Superman wants to fly him there. Batman thinks that'll be too unstable, and he might go because of the speed and whatever. So they escort him in a jet. A team of C-listers shows up to try and take him in. The Secret Society of Villains want him. So fight ensues.
So, I remember Deadline from another book, but I can't remember what book it was. But
yeah, it sounds familiar to me too. Obviously, Killer Moth we all know well enough.
Yes.
But some of these other ones, I mean, I couldn't tell you without some. This is where I could use labels. I could use the label on this page where they all show up. But so Batman actually, because the jet explodes, Batman rides on the back of the chair that Grundy's strapped to like it's a sled, and then Batwings come out of it, and I'm like, and this is so ridiculous, but I kind of chuckled at it. A, because the visual was kind of funny, but also because Superman said, "Are you insane?" He's like, "Why are you still asking me that?" How long have you done with me?
Pretty good.
So yeah, I mean, honestly, the actual fight just feels like we have to have a comic book fight. I did think it was a bit weird that this is set in like a really extreme winter, because when the issue started, I expected it to tie into Endless Winter, and it didn't.
No. Yeah. Also, where is Slaughter Swamp in Gotham? I was trying to place it in the maps that we've seen, and like, I just don't think of a swamp in like an area that's gonna be like, I had never thought about this before.
I don't know, I guess I mean, Wayne Manor's kind of on the outskirts where it's all kind of foresty. I don't think it's near Wayne Manor, but if there's an area like that with Wayne Manor is, I could see there have been an area on the other side of the city that's. Honestly, though, the fact that you've looked at maps is really funny to me, because I never do that. I don't care. You're the. I mean, I know you're not a Trekkie, but you're the sort of Trek fan that has a diagram and the blueprints of the Enterprise and knows where all the rooms are. That's you.
Hey, I'm the type of person that saves Galaxy Quest, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're able to find the device at the end because of someone like me. So hey,
I mean that is fair. I mean, I think when it comes to stuff like that, I think like with Firefly, I do know the layout of the ship, but that's not because I'm ultra nerdy with it in that way. What? It's more that the show does a good job of like showing you how everything connects, because the set all connected to each other, so you actually got to see the layout as we're walking through it. Whereas in something like Star Trek, it's all separate things where they just go through a turbo lift and they end up there because it's meant to be so big that whatever.
Right. I mean, it is. Yeah, those starships are huge. But no, just because you see, like, I remember it was Gates of Gotham was the first time, because it was about all the bridges and about the different areas of Gotham, which made me
which was right.
How's Gotham set?
And that was right before the New 52. That was in the build up to that. So I remember that.
So yeah.
So they get to Slaughter Swamp, and Swamp Thing shows up. Basically, the Green has been aware of what's going on. They suspected that Ivy might have like sort of called ahead, as it were, but he's like, the Green knows. Right. So yeah, he's going to go peacefully, without pain for once, and it's sort of like, this little bit of forestation grows in the icy swamp, into whatever he's going to be next time. I will say the ending of this was really predictable, because as soon as there was a conversation before the fight broke out where Batman admitted that he'd never been in a snowball fight, I was like, okay, this is really obvious that Superman's going to throw a snowball at him at the end of the issue. It's so obvious going to happen.
Superman's like, I couldn't fall at full speed or I'd take your head off, so you're lucky. It's just like, all right, Clark, don't flex the jerk muscle too hard.
If anything, I thought it was missing like a moment where it felt like Batman was taking it too seriously, only for Superman to try and say something and then just having a panel of a snowball hitting his face.
Boom. Yeah, that almost would have been better. Although it was low-key sad that when he was like, I never had snowball fights because Alfred didn't want to get his tux wet. And he was like, oh man, Bruce legit had no friends.
I wonder... I actually do think that may be a slight misstep on Williamson, because I feel like Alfred would be up for a snowball fight.
Me too.
If anything, I feel like Alfred would try to like give Bruce a snowball fight for his childhood, and Bruce would be like,
a slight tweak. Yeah, a slight tweak to that would be, I never had a snowball fight with Alfred because I didn't want to get cold and wet.
Yes.
That a slight tweak would have been there, but it was kind of sad that Bruce admits that he didn't have any friends. So yeah.
Do you know, I wasn't familiar with this artist. And I think the art is generally pretty good. I think the action looks good. I think the where it falls down, and it's a place where often a lot of artists will fall down, if there is a fall down for me, is in some of the faces. I think Superman's face often looks a little bit off, especially the final spread, which is them just sort of flying off together. Like there's something weird about his head. It looks kind of like a 12-year-old boy instead of a man. There's something just a little bit off about it.
The age is a little bit. Yeah.
That said, though, I do like how inky everything is. I think it's a really inky art, which might be less about the artist and more about the inker, admittedly. But very deep blacks, a lot of shading on the Superman suit, which I do tend to enjoy. Although, I love the cape tucked in, but sometimes they do this thing where it's tucked in all the way around to the front, and it does a lot of that in this issue. Well, I don't hate it, but it is notable. It's different than usual.
Right. Yeah, it comes just down to styling, I guess, right? That's how people draw that character.
It feels like the cape's supposed to like fall down in front of him as well, because it's meant to close almost like a, like a more ceremonial cape than like an actual superhero cape. But that's an alright little issue though. It's not super important. It's fine.
Yeah, it was off to a rough start back at the very beginning with the tie-in to was it Hell Arisen and whatnot. But it kind of really just became its own fun thing, where you just could feel like Williamson would have ideas for a Batman-Superman story.
Yeah. And I thought it up and down. Like I thought the one with Batwoman and Cyborg was a little bit weaker than the ones that had came before.
You mean Steel?
Oh, sorry, Steel. Yeah, not Cyborg. Yeah. Sorry, Steel. Yeah. I thought that was a bit weaker, but it's been a fun little series, and I'm curious to see what Yang does with it. And it's going to be very different. It's going to be a very different series when Yang gets his hands on it.
Yeah, I definitely feel between New Superman and Terrifics, Yang has had his, room to spread to tell as weird stories as he wanted. I do. And I'm curious to see how that goes with Batman and Superman.
Unless they anthologize it so that it's like a new writer every like 6 or 7 issues.
That could be too.
Yeah, I feel like its days are numbered though. I feel like Yang being on it means that it's maybe going to get 12 more issues and it'll probably be done. And I hate saying that, but
yeah, I know.
But I feel like that's probably what's going to because
it makes sense.
Because it is becoming this weirder golden age thing. I feel like it's not going to last much longer. Then it's going to be cool for 12 issues or something like that, and then be gone. Would be my guess. And I say that as someone who didn't want New Superman to end. I wanted that to go on at least twice as long as it did. But hey, we are. What are you giving Batman Superman 15?
I'm gonna give this one a 7.5.
Straight 7 for me. I thought it was enjoyable, but not special. But some neat moments. I thought the snowball ending was so predictable as soon as he brought it up that it kind of. I almost felt a little bit cynical about it when waiting for it to happen.
Yeah.
But there you go. So that's Batman Superman.
Mm-hmm.